Hey everyone, hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. Ooh, let's go ahead and we're gonna get into it. Hopefully by the time you guys get past the commercials, I'm trying to, yeah, okay. All right, let's go ahead, let's get into it. You guys know the drama going on with the Gosselin family. You guys know that there is this documentary out called The Dark Side of the 2000s. I have it linked in the description box below. If you have not watched it, I'm telling you guys to watch it. It's really interesting. Um, this is really, I mean, in my opinion, the first time that we're hearing from John, Hannah, and Colin all about, what their life was like when they were on the show and how things came to be with the way they are now. John talks about, him and Kate getting a divorce, how the network tried to keep him there, how the network said, just don't divorce her, but you can have your chick on the side. We'll give you a big payday if you do that. We want our show to stay the way that it is. Keep your side chick quiet and we're fine with it. He said no, he wasn't going to do that. They go on to get a divorce, but the media made him look really bad because when a picture came out of him with his girlfriend, they made it out like he cheated. And also some paperwork that he did sign, he was bound by a 10-year gag order to not talk and not to defend himself. And in this documentary, he says, I was the second most hated person under OJ Simpson. And this man, allegedly killed his wife. But I was hated just as much almost because people thought that like he was cheating on Kate. They didn't understand what was happening. When in reality, he went to Kate. They did not have a good relationship, anyways. Honestly, looking back, watching the show, she was so mean to him. She was very controlling. I was like, John, what are you doing? I mean, if you come here and stop walking around like a doofus, I mean, she just talked to him so condescending. I don't know, she clearly wore the pants in the relationship and she didn't even allow him to help her put the pants on. You know what I'm saying? She was very strict with her kids. She kept them all in line, which I would have to imagine. You have 8 kids, sextuplets, twins. You're going to have to be, kind of strict with them to keep them where it's not complete chaos in the house. Either way, they end up divorced. Um, a couple of years after the divorce, his son Colin ends up in a psychiatric facility, unbeknownst to him. And when John asks, where's his son? No one will tell him where his son is. He has to go through so many hoops to find out where he is. And then you remember when she freaked out for him not using a coupon? Yeah. She freaked out on the kids after their aunt gave them gum. She threw Colin's bear away because Colin got gum on his bear. Anyways, when John found out where his son was, it was because his son got a letter out of the facility delivered to him. He actually had Hannah there with him when he found out where Colin was, and Hannah made the decision, I'm not going home. If my mom can just stick my brother off in a facility like that, I don't want to go back home to her. So he ended up getting custody of Colin and Hannah, and he said he spent about $1 million. It broke him. And a lot of people have this misconception that, in my opinion, is a misconception. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second. No, ma'am. I'm sorry. You can't play with this, love. Here, chew your bone, and I'll take you out in just a minute. There you go, girlfriend. A lot of people have this misconception that, like, John just immediately started partying, wanted nothing to do with his kids. And he said, yes, when we got a divorce, I did kind of revert back to being like a 19-year-old. But I don't think that he did not. Oh my gosh, I literally eat now and laters like they're going out of style. I'm so sorry. All apologies. I'm so sorry. But I don't, in my opinion, I do think the media really portrayed him to look bad. I mean, Kate was doing stuff too. She was going out on dates. She allegedly had this, thank you, Tammy. Thank you so much. She allegedly had this relationship with her bodyguard, There's literally pictures and videos that was taken by paparazzi of Kate, like, spanking her kids, and, like, CPS was involved. And, there was a lot going on. And I think the media kind of portrayed it the way that they wanted it to be portrayed. They literally allow people to believe that John was cheating on Kate. And he says that was never the case. He was not cheating on her. He had already went to her, said that he wanted a divorce. They tried to talk him out of it. A lot of stuff happened. Either way, on the dark side of the 2000s, John, Hannah, and Colin all talk about what went down back then. And Colin says that yes, his mom at 12 years old put him in a psychiatric facility and abandoned him. She did not come and check on him. She did not come to any counseling or anything. He got that letter out. His dad found out where he was, but then he was transferred somewhere else. And his dad found out where he was then. And when his dad showed up for the first time and seen his son for the first time in 3 years, his son looked drastically different. He had gained a lot of weight. He was on a lot of medications. And he said he asked the doctor, "What is my son's diagnosis?" And the doctor said, "Well, we don't know yet. We're still trying to figure it out." And he said, "Don't worry about it because I'm getting my son out of here." And he did just that $1 million later, months later, going through the court system. He said he had to do so much, get his witnesses, get, any evidence that he could to prove that he should have custody of his son. On the day that they go to court, Kate does not even show up. Kate did not show up to fight for her son. My thing is, like, if you don't want to fight for your son, how about when the dad says, "Where's my son? I'll get him. Just let me have custody of him." Say, "Okay, this is where he is. Yes, please go get him." Or, "Yes, here's where he is. I can't handle him. So here, you be there to help him. I don't know what else to do." But no, she withheld that information from John, then did not want John to get him out. Then when John took her to court, she didn't even show up. Did not even show up, says all anyone needs to know about her. That's the way that I feel as well. So anyways, Maddie, we just talked about Maddie responding. Maddie, Colin's older sister saying, like, "Oh, he was abusive and not abusive necessarily. She never said that he did physically hit them, but he threatened like physical harm on them and that he, was mean essentially. A lot of people saying like, "You know what? We saw clips where you were mean too as his older sister, hitting him with your jacket and doing X, Y, and Z. Like he was a kid." Now, Kate, she's put out a statement over on her Instagram and we're going to read it. And a lot of people are calling BS on this, okay? A lot of people are calling BS on what she's saying. Hi, girlie. What is it? I'm going to take you out in just a minute. Chew my finger. There you go. Chew it. Hold on, let me see. All right. It says, "I've never wanted to have to do this, but I feel I've been backed into a corner and left with no choice. Although it saddens me to do so, I need to speak now. My son Colin, who I love with all my heart, has received multiple psychiatric diagnoses over the years. For the safety of myself, his brothers and sisters, and for his own well-being, he was placed in a facility following years of outpatient treatment, which proved insufficient for his needs. The decision to admit him was made by emergency room doctors following one of his many attacks and outbursts." Ow, baby. This one involving his use of a weapon, which this is the first that I'm hearing of a weapon. Wonder what the weapon was. Mind you, he would have been 12 or less than 12. Fast forward to the present day and following John's removal of Colin from treatment, my son's unpredictable and violent behaviors have sadly continue regularly towards John, Hannah, and others around him. Colin's distorted perception of reality is one of the many issues that he has always struggled with. As many people who have family members struggling with mental health issues can attest to, it is rarely and sadly surprising when complete fabrications occur, and it's just another heartbreaking facet of this fight. All parent-child relationships are complex, but when mental illness is involved, it is incredibly complicated and painful, and certainly not easy for others on the outside to understand. All measures that were taken in our home were at the explicit recommendation of his pediatric psychiatrist and or his team of specialists, and were put into place to safeguard every member of our family, our friends, as well as our family pets. Unfortunately, I believe Colin remains a very troubled young man who continues to need a lot of help. His brothers and sisters and I have not been directly involved in his life due to his history of unpredictable behavior, his history of unpredictable behavior and violent tendencies towards us. What his sister Maddie posted on social media recently is completely accurate, and I deeply appreciate her bravery in doing so. This is all I have to say on the matter, and I will not be discussing the subject any further at this time. Bring me my shoe back, girlfriend. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You can't chew my shoe. Sorry, guys. Chew my shoe. Okay. Yeah, how are you a nurse? Again, but blast your son's health information on the internet. What a classy mother she is to get online and speak of her son. Not once giving a hoot about his mental state. I could never. She's revolting and so narcissistic. I don't believe a word. Now, this person over here says, I'm actually rather shocked that a team would encourage you to just leave your son. As a licensed mental health professional, family participation in treatment is vital. It is a huge part of the healing process and evidence-based. So I'd be slightly concerned if your team decided it would be best to cut contact with your suffering child. Exactly. Now, John, he responded. Let me see. I'm sorry, you cannot type that. All right, now this is what John had to say. Kate posting cruel, false accusations regarding Colin seems to be just another way for her to justify her inexcusable, horrific past behavior towards him. True love for a child would not include a mother attacking their son to the public. Colin had to be cleared by the Marines with a full background check, including mental, physical, and medical clearance through the U.S. Marine Corps. The government's full diagnosis clearly reflects the truth. Do not forget that a judge awarded sole legal and physical custody of Colin to his father. Kate would not even show up to court and lost full custody of her own son. Regarding these brand new false allegations or accusations, it seems clear that even today, after not seeing her son since he was in the 6th grade, she is unable to control her abusive words towards him. At this point, Colin is training to be a Marine in order to serve his country and is unable to respond to his mother's callous lies. No, ma'am. Don't you do that, Loli. You can't have my shoe. Why did you keep up with me? You can't have my shoe. Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I love this clapback. John literally says, like, listen, this is another way for her to be abusive to him yet again, to come out with these false allegations. And let me tell you something. If Colin had so many diagnoses and he was violent, then he would not have passed the background check because they want, let me tell you, to get in the military, they want all your medical records. They want everything. If you've ever been committed, like, they want that. They want to know why. What was it for? You know what I'm saying? And I really do feel like he probably wouldn't have made it into the military. I mean, he went through school. He gets out of, a psychiatric facility, comes back home with his dad, enrolls in school. To our knowledge, he hasn't had any problems with school. He graduated on time after being gone for 3 years. This boy graduated on time with his twin sister. No problem. No problem. You know what I'm saying? The woman that his dad was with, Colleen, he had a big love for her. They were very close. She was at his graduation. I do know there was one time where Colin did call the cops on his dad. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that Colin may not have some issues where he has an outburst here and there of emotions. But how would you not? after what he went through. This kid was raised on TV from the time before he could even remember. He does not even remember a time before TV. He was completely humiliated on TV. Kate gave them spankings on TV. They ran around in diapers on TV. She threw away his teddy bear on TV. I mean, he would get in trouble on TV. His mom would look him dead in his eyes and scold him on TV. And then when he decided, I don't want to participate in that anymore, that I don't like this. I don't feel comfortable with this. He was mistreated, in my opinion. He was not allowed to be with the family. He was, once again, I can't remember that word. He was, yeah, Colin did admit that was kind of a form of blackmail on his dad. Yeah, he did. Colin called the cops and said his dad was like abusing him or whatever. And essentially, what it was is he had gotten in trouble with his dad, and his dad was punishing him, and he kind of lost it. And him and his dad have a little bit of a situation. But he come forward and said, I should not have called the cops on my dad. That was me acting out. Yes, isolated. He was isolated. The fact that Colin, do we really think that with Colin being put into a facility, having no family come and see him for over a year, why did John agree to give up visitation? To my knowledge, he never did. They just stopped wanting to see him. Because even when he was going to their school and eating with them, they would come over from time to time. And that's when he noticed Colin was missing, when he was at their school eating with them. But so he noticed Colin's missing when he's at school eating with them. But when he got the note from Colin, Hannah was at his house. So they still had some sort of visitation, but I think it was just, here's the thing. Kate had, TLC or TLC money backing her, because the network wanted Kate to stay in good standing with the public, so the public would watch her show, because they tried to continue this. To my knowledge, he never gave up on visitation. He just didn't want to force his kids to come if they didn't want to come anymore, and that's essentially what happened. From my understanding, when he started fighting for custody of Hannah, that's really kind of went all downhill. But I feel like Kate was so controlling from the moment that they started splitting up. I think Kate started getting into their head about things, in my opinion. Elle, correct me if I'm wrong, but in order to serve, don't they do psych evaluations? And if one has a history of mental illnesses, you're not allowed to enlist and don't get accepted into the Marines. I really think so. Hey, Bub, on a live. Do you need something? Okay, I'll be in a minute. Love you, bye. That's my son. He's got COVID. I'm so sorry for the interruptions tonight, you guys. Let's see. Will I qualify? Okay. You will be disqualified from serving in the U.S. military if you have a current diagnosis or a history of most mental disorders. I'm sure anything that would include depression, violent behavior would probably get you disqualified. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I remember the show. John was laid back and she was nagging everyone. It makes sense for those kids to see through her to run away from her. To see for the kids who see through her to run away from her. Exactly. As far as I know, you have to pass. Thank you, guys. Yeah, he's not feeling too well. He just got back he went to 2 church camps like 2 weeks in a row, and he got it from somebody. Let's see. Do I have to pass a psych eval to enter military? I think you do. Currently, 3 mental health assessment tools are used to screen applicants before they're interested in the military services. educational achievement, cognitive testing, and a cursory psychiatric evaluation. Depressive. They look for so there's two. Okay, the military, the MHA consists of a two stage self-report assessment using validated tools to assess alcohol use, PTSD, and depressive symptoms. They do an aptitude test, achievement test, personality test. And it isn't a pass or a fail, but a comprehensive method for establishing a baseline for your mental health, an essential step in developing an individualized treatment plan. So, yeah, you really can't. I think they are like a long time ago, like probably 2.5 years ago, maybe. Yes. Yeah, my granddaughter who was in the Air Force had to undergo all kinds of medical. Marines are very picky. Exactly. So I really doubt that he had all these mental health situations that caused him to be super violent. I don't know. I just feel like no doubt he's going to suffer from some sort of issues after the way he was abandoned by his mom. I do think he acted out. Here's the thing. I think as a 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old, I think he acted out because he was unhappy. His mom and dad went through a divorce. He was on camera all the time. He didn't like it. He had a lot of siblings. So therefore, time with any one of his parents alone time would be very difficult. So I definitely think that he dealt with some issues and he probably lashed out due to that. But I don't think it was such to the degree that Kate is trying to make it. I don't think it would warrant him being put into a psychiatric hospital and then abandoned. That's horrible. Let me see how they were. Eight? I think there were eight. I think they were eight. Let me see. Yeah, can you have a chance to go back over what Maddie said? Yes, I can. Yeah, I still have a lot of stuff in my closet. I'll just kind of pick it out here and there. My boys, they still have the necklaces and everything. There's mothers that still visit their kids in prison and they've committed a crime. A mother's love has no limits. Exactly. Okay, let's see. So I'll go back over what Maddie said. So Maddie said, I never wanted to speak up about this in order to allow my brother to live privately after the conclusion of our family's reality TV show. But I've been overwhelmed by hate messages in the last few days, and I feel I must set the record straight. I do not owe my allegiance to a person who has physically threatened me and every member of our immediate family. Some incidences as recently as last year. Mind you, she said, I don't owe my allegiance to anyone who has physically threatened me and every member of my family. Physically threatened me. Now, Kate says that he got physical and something, and one time a weapon was included. But it seems like he never, actually hurt anyone. He just maybe threatened to, which is not a good sign. And I'm not saying it's an excuse of behavior. It's not. She said, further, I will never allow someone who has exhibited hateful and even violent behavior towards others based on their racial identity, gender identity, or religious beliefs to be in my life. My brother Colin. So Maddie goes on to say that she refuses to make an exception for anyone, even her brother Colin, who has unfortunately made his opinions very clear in private. For me, there is no further conversation to be had about rebuilding relationships with anyone in my life after reaching the point of physical violence and hate speech. I cannot speak any further on why Colin has done these things, just that I have witnessed them. Maddie concluded her message by asking fans to stop sending her and her family hate messages, stating that they have seen the messages, that people have sent the messages without knowing the full truth of what they have been through. After that, she got some backlash about that, and then she come back and she said, by the way, I'm not the authority on what trauma others have experienced, but I am the authority on what I've experienced and what I've reluctantly shared, and I've reluctantly shared that with you guys today. To those of you saying my brother was a child who experienced trauma, and so I must swiftly forgive and forget, please remember that I was a child too. I have empathy for him and what he's been through, but that doesn't erase the trauma I suffered at his hands. We are real people living real lives, not just characters on your TV, which means there is so much you will never know about our lives. There's no need to take sides. Please just be kind. Yeah, he was a child. Sounds to me that her anger comes from personal beliefs, not violence. They have not seen each other in years. Um, Colin has not seen his mom since he was in, I think they said, sixth grade. I'm wondering though, them saying like even as recent as last year's, I'm wondering if Colin has sent some angry messages to his family in the past. I would, because he got in a wreck back in 2020, and it was a pretty bad wreck. And his mom and his siblings did not check up on him. They didn't text and say, "How are you? Are you okay?" Nope. I'm gonna assume, this is just me assuming, that after that wreck happened and they did not reach out to him, more than likely he probably sent them a mean message on social media. I would have. I still think this post is highly manipulated by Kate, and she is speaking from the past. Yeah. I was a scapegoat child, so I know all about it. What pushed a child to that point? Yeah, I mean, what will push a child? I mean, this dude had his life on TV. He did not want to be on TV at one point. Then he was punished for not wanting to be on TV. He was punished. He would get punished for not wanting to participate in filming. Kate is on a fact-finding mission to get money. No, now that all the money is run out, she has to live a normal lifestyle. Yep. I don't think they should send hate yet to anyone, in my opinion. But I'm not necessarily believing that he was just so outrageous. And let me tell you guys something. I deal with mental health, family members with it, and you don't give up on your kids. If he did not like sexually assault his siblings and like really try to kill them, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, what happened? He lashed out a couple times and said he's gonna beat y'all up. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Yeah, that happens. Like, what did he do? Like, what? I want to say I would really love to know what he did so wrong. But in reality, I think putting any of that out there, I don't believe that he really did anything that bad, in my opinion. I really don't. I mean, He went through all of that, got out of the facility. We've had one situation that has been put out there about the cop call situation where him and John got into it. Other than that, they've kept a pretty low profile. He graduated school on time. He signed up for the military. He passed all the backgrounds and everything. Even the Duggars didn't give up on Josh, right? Even the Duggars did not give up on Josh. That's one that maybe you would give up on. You know what I'm saying? Like, ugh. Colin even took full responsibility for when that incident happened between him and his dad. He sure did. And that he shouldn't have called the cops on him because John was wanting to discipline him for something he had done. He sure did. He sure did. The past is behind us. We cannot continue to live in the past or we can never move forward. Exactly. And you know what I wonder? Say some sort of mental health situation. He does have some sort of mental health situation. Some of these things run in your family. What Maddie, what's gonna happen if you have a child that exhibits some behaviors like Colin? You gonna give up on your child? You gonna give up on your child? Especially at 12 years old? Who does that? And John did not give up on him after that incident. He sure didn't. If he was so bad, how is it that Hannah could forgive him? I agree with you, Elle. I think they're exaggerating. Yeah. Does she take any responsibility? He was a child. If he did anything, it was learned behavior, if you ask me. See what she wrote in her diary entries. I need to look into that. If anybody has any information, email it to me. I forgave many times for 3 decades due to my own health issues. I had to cease contact. I still love my mother, but I cannot physically bear the stress of her abuse. I understand that. And his dad did not give up on, yep. My brother broke my nose in a fight we had, but I still love him to death by this day. Wow, Janie, I'm so sorry. Is she implying she hasn't seen him in 6 years, saying he was worse than before she sent him away? If you go off what my kids were like 6 years ago, 2 of them were in diapers. 6 years is a long time. She hasn't seen him. Kate has not seen Colin since he was in 6th grade, since he was 12. So, yes, 6 years, yeah. She ignored him at graduation, went, but did not pay no mind to him. I refuse to have kids for fear I will become a mother. Oh, no, App. I don't think you would. Colin has accountability, something his mom doesn't have. No, App, I don't think you would. A lot of times when we have things like that happen, we shy so far away from it because of it. He was shunned. Kate manipulated the entire situation. Yep. Kate is the type of mother to wonder why she is all alone in her elder years. I mean, she's tried to have relationships, but they never worked out. When she was on Dancing with the Stars, her partner did not like her. Even her and her partner butted heads. All siblings fight and argue. I believe he had enough and didn't want to be involved in the circus that become their lives. Even kids, that's what I think too. Dude, I can't imagine 6 hours for my 7 year. Okay, exactly, exactly. Now people over on Instagram, they're like, who commits a child to a psych ward and refuses to tell the child's dad for almost 3 years? She should get Parent of the Year, not. Remember when she went to Hannah at his high school graduation and she wouldn't even look at him, but praised and hugged Hannah right in front of him? That says it all. There also has been several reports over the years of her never going once to visit him when he was in the psychiatric ward. This is what bugs me. Sometimes these facilities are needed, but he was basically dumped. TLC paid big money for her to get sole custody. He could not compete. As a mother, it was your job to protect him. You didn't see him for years at a time while he was away. As someone who watched and grew up with your kids through the show, you always backed Colin into a corner and separated him from his siblings and treated him different. Regardless of mental illness status and actions, you are his mother. You are the person who is supposed to help him through things in life like this. And you didn't because fame got to your head and you didn't care. It was one less kid for you to care of and one less mouth for you to feed, one less body you had to protect in your home. This is solely on you for not giving him the love and support he needed from a young age and advocate for him the right way. Go to therapy, fix yourself so that maybe one day you can fix your relationship with your son. I wonder if his distorted perception of reality could have been triggered by spending his entire childhood with a camera in his face. Or if only his mental health had been placed on a or only if his mental health had been placed as a higher priority than money and fame. What the outcome could have looked like for him. Obviously, none of us have ever been in your shoes, and it's a tough road being in to be a mom to a special needs kid, let alone with 7 others. But continuing to film a show while your son is in a psych unit, him not seeing a parent for a year and a half, being alienated from his family, he was a child, for goodness sake. He needed his parents and his family. I'm not questioning your decision as a mother to place him in an environment that could provide care that he needed. This is a zero shame. There is zero shame in seeking help for mental health and behavioral issues, but abandoning him there. Imagine being Colin in that situation, going from living in a big family to alone in a psych ward, and then he literally never sees his mom again. Him needing treatment does not excuse you for you abandoning and neglecting your son. Of course, he is violent. Of course, he has mental health struggles. Look at his life. You post on social media instead of reaching out to your baby, trying to rationalize you dumping him and never seeing him again. Come on, Kate. There isn't a real mother out there who would buy into this. Shame on you. I agree. Colin is currently in a boot camp for the Marines. If he had issues that Kate said he has, he wouldn't have passed the psych evaluation. Yeah, it seems like he is at boot camp right now because that's what John said as well. John said due to the fact that he is currently preparing for the Marines, he could not comment on this. So I feel like if he was just like at METS or something or doing something like, I think he's somewhere where he can't comment on this, which would possibly mean the Marines. And man, I'm praying for him. I am hoping that he like rocks boot camp. Marine boot camp is a tough boot camp. Boot camp in general is a tough boot camp. Marine boot camp is one of the toughest from my understanding. So I hope he does good. I hope he does great. I hope I hope he becomes a great soldier. Anyways, you guys, I just wanted to do a quick video and give you guys an update on Kate's response. I think it's complete BS. BS. I think Maddie's response was BS. I think it's horrible that she cannot at least try to get to know her son, her brother right now for who he is and try to have some sort of relationship with him. And if she wants to hold grudges for 6, 7 years, she better hope she don't have kids and then they decide not to talk to each other or they decide not to talk to her because something she done. Because it can always come back to bite you in the butt when you mistreat somebody. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, you guys let me your thoughts in the comment section below. I will be doing more content tonight. We're going to talk about some Vanderpump Rules stuff. It seems Raquel is back out of the mental health facility and she got rid of her dog. She dumped Graham. Dumped him. Thankfully, the place she dumped him got in contact with James, and James has the dog. But there's more information on James and Allie. They might not be doing well. Anyways, we're going to come back in a little bit. I got to run in the house, check on the kids, check on my son who's got COVID. I got to take the dog out, but I will be back later for more content. So you guys make sure your notifications is on. Yes, Maddie and Kate's statements are classic gaslighting. I agree. Give this video a thumbs up. That's a huge help to the YouTube algorithm. If all of you guys hit that thumbs up button, it will tell YouTube I like this video and it will put it out there for more people to see it. So please do me that huge button and hit that thumbs up. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.